Did your parents do a good job, or did they mess you up? Are you messing up your kids, or are they going to be all right? How can you and yours fix the past and live your best lives? Attachment theory in early childhood holds the answers. I'm Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist. The two things people in my office talk about the most are figuring out how their relationships with their parents affect them to this day, and their fear that they're going to get it all wrong with their kids. These are common concerns. Look, I came from a happy home, and I'm still worried that I'm going to wreck my kids emotionally and destroy their future through poor parenting. Folks, I'm not going to go all cliched therapist on you and claim that everything about you traces back to your childhood. Not everything is riding on the performance of the parents, and the belief that it does triggers anxiety, shame, and indecisiveness in ourselves as we raise our own kids. A million different interactions and learning experiences, and our responses to them shape us as we grow. Nevertheless, it is true that the quality of our attachments as children provide the starting point and chart our initial course for what our self-esteem and relationships will look like in the future. Understanding why you are the way that you are, for better or for worse, can help you become the happiest, most balanced version of yourself. Understanding whether your efforts as a parent are harming or helping your kids can help you to keep doing what you've been doing or make adjustments. Attachment theory in early childhood provides that understanding. So, we're going to talk about what attachment theory is as it relates to children, how to make sense of your childhood and how it affects your adulthood, and how you can make sure that your kids are securely attached. In the 1940s, British psychologist John Bowlby observed the behaviors of children who had been separated from the person they were most connected with, usually their mothers. Of course, kids rely on their parents for food, shelter, and safety. Their physical survival depends on their ability to attach with an adult who will take care of them. But it goes beyond just staying alive. Bowlby observed that a child's emotional well-being was also dependent on their connection with an adult caretaker. Kids who saw their parents as available, attentive, and affectionate often had a strong sense of self. They could be on their own, make new friends, and explore, comfortable in the knowledge that their parent or attachment figure would be there when they needed them. Kids who saw their parents as unavailable, inconsistent, absent, or harsh would search for the parent, follow and cling to them, and cry out until the parent was attentive and present, or until the child would become worn out and gave up. So what does all this mean for you and your kids? How can you make sure that they feel loved and confident instead of clingy and hopeless? We'll get there. But first, you need to know what happened next. Mary Ainsworth, a colleague of Bowlby's, propelled our understanding of attachment forward with her experiment called the strange situation. In this experiment, infants played with their mothers in an observation room. A stranger would enter the room and interact with the child, during which time the mother would slip out for a time. The children's reactions when their mothers returned is the key to everything. Some of the children would be alarmed or upset once the mothers left and, upon their return, would run to them, upset, scared, or hurt for being left alone with a stranger. Understandable. However, they would allow themselves to be soothed and return to play on their own relatively quickly. Other children ran to their mothers for comfort, but would then refuse to be comforted, at least for a good long while. They seemed intent on punishing their mothers for leaving, switching between clingy and angry behaviors. Still others did not act stressed that the mothers were gone, at least not consistently stressed, and gave their moms the cold shoulder when they came back, refusing to interact or play with them. From this, Ainsworth theorized that there were three types of attachment, one secure and two insecure, called anxious and avoidant. In the decades since, researchers have largely confirmed her findings. Securely attached children have parents or caregivers who are openly affectionate. The parents are available for their children's needs, express understanding and empathy towards their children's feelings, are positive and quick to give genuine praise, and provide loving structure in the form of rules, consequences, and instruction. These children tend to feel safer to explore the world on their own, make new friends, try new things, and proceed in life with confidence. As they grow up, they are more likely to experience healthy relationships defined by emotional vulnerability, trust, and trustworthiness. They are also more likely to succeed academically and in their careers. Anxiously attached children have parents or caregivers who are inconsistent. Sometimes the parents are loving, sometimes judgmental and harsh. In Mary Ainsworth's strange situation experiment, these children desperately held on to their mothers and refused to be comforted, seeking closeness while punishing the mothers for leaving. Sometimes the parents are present, nurturing and supportive. Other times they are withdrawn, denying bids for attention and critical. As a result, the child doesn't know when or how their needs are going to be met. They become clingy, insecure to explore the world around them, fearful to make new friends, and constantly in need of assurance that the caregiver will not leave them alone. They tend to struggle with self-worth. As they grow up, they are more likely to not prioritize themselves in relationships, allowing themselves to be used and taken advantage of in order to not be alone. Avoidant children have parents who are negligent, detached, or dismissive. In Mary Ainsworth's strange situation experiment, these children were the ones who seemed unaffected by the parents' absence and ignored them when they returned. Because they cannot count on their parents to meet their emotional needs, these children develop a lone wolf mentality in which they distance themselves from others and self-soothe. They often become so independent and emotionally detached that they struggle to form and keep meaningful relationships later in life. A fourth attachment style emerged in later studies. Children with a disorganized attachment have parents who are chaotic, alternating between frightening and soothing the child. This attachment style usually occurs following trauma, abuse, or neglect. The child craves closeness but is terrified of it because to grow close to someone is to give them power to hurt you. Wanting desperately to be securely attached, the child blames the adult's behavior on themselves so that they believe that they can fix it and that their attachment figure really is decent and good. The adults often reinforce this, blaming their own behavior on the child, who internalizes a great deal of shame and belief in their own unlovability. These children often grow up with chaotic, unstable relationships in which they are constantly drawing people near, only to push them away. They demonstrate cycles of intense love and affection followed by intense rage. If you grew up with secure attachments and have maintained that style throughout your life, good for you. Count your blessings, you're in the minority. If, on the other hand, you grew up with insecure attachments, and this is all hitting a little too close to home, there is hope for developing healthy relationships, undoing the damage of the past, and loving yourself. A skilled counselor can help with the process. As for your kids, they need you to be consistent, affectionate, available, supportive, instructive and boundary setting, but not harsh and critical. If you're like me, you worry about long work hours keeping you from being available, and human weakness keeping you from being as nurturing as you ought to be. To this I say, first of all, that research shows secure attachments are more about quality of the bond than quantity of time spent together. Children whose parents accurately assess and lovingly respond to a child's bids for connection and actually listen to them will have children who are securely attached, even if they don't have as much time together as they would like. And if you are sometimes short-tempered with or detached from your children, they will likely be resilient provided you take ownership of your behavior instead of blaming them and show an increase of love to repair and mend hurt feelings. Now, I want to hear from you down below in the comments. What was your childhood like? What do you think was your attachment style? Have you continued on that path or have things changed? Or if you have questions for us about attachment theory, healing from the past, or raising your own kids well, let us know in the comments below and we'll happily address them. If you enjoy what we're doing here, please hit the subscribe button and the bell so that you can get our new videos. Here at Mended Light, we're invested in helping you heal yourself so that your light can shine to the world, so that you can be the happiest, best version of you. I'm Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist, and I'll see you next time.